So let's talk about past, present, and future money identities, because your identity is really, it's your personality. It is, all the subconscious and the conscious thoughts that you have. It's, how you think about yourself. It's all the beliefs. It's all the emotions, the stirrings, the feelings that you have. It's the perspectives that you hold. It's what you believe is possible for you. And all of us have, we have past, we have present, and we have future money identities, right? And a lot of us have been carrying around old past identities that we haven't allowed ourselves to embrace new ones. So here's what I want to say about it, right? Life is a mirror, right? And just like a mirror, when you stand in front of a mirror, it can't reflect back anything different than, whatever it is that you're doing or however it is that you look. And life is like that, right? It's going to be a match for, it's going to reflect back a match for what you are. And that is your identity. That's your state of being, right? And our state of being is really our creative power, right? It's our beliefs, it's our frequency, it's our energy, it's the perspectives that we hold, it's what we think is possible for us. And so your state of being, right, is the ultimate truth. It doesn't lie. And what I notice, and what's a really common thing with women, is that we limit ourselves because we get stuck in a past identity. We get stuck in what it was that was happening for our moms or our grandmothers, or what our dads were doing or weren't doing, or whatever the dynamic was in our household, or whatever it was that we experienced when we were growing up. And we haul that identity around with us, like we put it on like it's a backpack, right? And it's heavy, it's weighted, it's an energetic frequency of its own that we're then trudging around with, right? So we're always kind of stuck back in this past. Oh, well, my family did this, and so I can't do that, right? It's all of that kind of stuff. And what happens is that we drag that then into the present, right? And half the time we're not actually really present, but the present is our creative power. The present is our creative energy, right? The present is the powerful, generous now where all things can happen, right? On the quantum timeline. And then there's this future money identity, right? These are our big dreams. These are our hopes. These are our visions. These are the seeds that are planted in our heart. These are the things that we want to really go after and create for ourselves. And yet there's this balance of, living here in the present, but embodying the energy of that future vision, right? That future identity, knowing that that's what's actually going to shorten the timeline. So I want to have you check in and just, notice what is your state of being, right? What is the energy from which you are creating, right? Are you allowing ease, or are you choosing to make it hard? Are you making excuses, or are you present in your current reality, right? Really listening in for the guidance and then taking action on it. Are you blaming other people and then getting upset when things don't, manifest in the timeline that you would desire them to be? Or are you taking responsibility, really investing in the tools, the resources, the coaching, the mentoring, right? Putting yourself in the rooms, in the spaces, in the places, in the communities that are going to enrich you, right? Are you in a space of, outsourcing your abundance, right? Giving your power over to all the external things rather than realizing that you are the source of your own abundance, right? All of these are really valid questions, and they're impacting your state of being. If this is what I like to call I've heard it said, like a return to sender universe, right? Whatever your frequency is, whatever you're sending out, whatever signal you're emitting, right? That's what you're receiving back. So really paying attention to that state of being is critical, right? Because then you're going to know, right? Am I in my present? Am I focused here? Am I drawing all of my energy into the now? Am I walking my own path, right? Or am I stuck in some old story back there in a past identity, right? Or am I worrying about what's going to happen? Am I taking score? Am I looking for evidence? Am I checking over there? What's she doing? How did she grow her business in 3 months and it's taken me 3 years over here, right? All of that is compressing, restricting, limiting your state of being, right? So what we want to do, right, is we want to get out of that lack consciousness, right? Out of that scarcity mindset, out of that I don't have it consciousness, right? Part of this work is developing and cultivating this inner feeling of knowing that we already have whatever it is that we need and it's inside of us, right? Because when we know that and we're secure in that, then we can stand in the present and we can imagine and envision and get excited about what that future possibility is. And we can bring that energy and that embodiment into our present actions. It's like electricity, right? It doesn't do you any good unless you actually like your lamp could be sitting there, but you can't turn it on unless you plug it in. So you got to plug yourself in, right? You got to bring yourself online. You got to connect yourself into this internal well and this source, into this state of consciousness of having, right? And then you manifest more having, right? In that state of consciousness of, I don't have it, I'm not going to get there on time. Look what she's doing. I've got all these excuses. I'm blaming others, right? That's like you tapping into the stream of like victimhood, right? That's the not having, right? And then you manifest more not having. So this is why, the person who suddenly gets a new job or comes into a windfall of money or a new opportunity or a new relationship is oftentimes still filled with fear of losing it all, or failing, or being rejected, or not being adored, or whatever it is, or not being loved, or being abandoned, right? Which then leads to self-sabotaging behaviors and then becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's really about, and I wrote a note down here because I wanted to remember to tell us this, that it's really about this shift. It's about this shift into trusting life, shifting into believing that we are supported, right? Knowing deep in our gut, right? In our hearts, in our bodies, that we are supported, we are being guided, we are enough, we have what we need inside of us. And when we can actually plug ourselves in, get ourselves connected, that source within is inexhaustible. It's infinite, it's unlimited, right? There's nothing finite about it. And when we can tap ourselves into that and know that life is here loving us, is supporting us, wants us to thrive, it's going to reward us by giving us, more to use, more to share, more to create with, because life wants to express more of itself, and life gets expressed through us. So the thing about this work is that it is compounding, and it's not like you're going to just show up and be like, oh, great, I got a new money identity. It's compounding. And the best example that I've heard recently was somebody was talking about, when you go to a children's party and there's like a big piñata and you see like the big boy get up and like whack it, with a baseball, but it still doesn't crack open. And then you see like the next child get up and they like whack at it and they might get a couple hits, right? And so it's starting to crack, but it still hasn't, it still hasn't exploded yet. It hasn't popped, right? And then this like tiny little one who nobody would think could crack open that piñata comes and whacks it and boom, it pops, right? This work is like this. It's compounding. When you do the work around shifting your identity, around shifting your beliefs, around standing in the present moment, right? Noticing the moments when you backtrack to an old belief that's not really serving you. And then you go with gentle awareness, oh, there's that fear. Is that something what do I need? What do I need here, right? How can I soothe that? Is that really even true, right? Then you can get back into the present, right? And then you can get into, from that place, and you can reach into the bigger dream that you have. And you can remember, no, wait, I'm here. Life is working for me. Life is expressing itself through me. I'm right on time. I'm walking my timeline. I'm choosing to do these things. I'm listening for the guidance. I'm getting the downloads. Opportunities are being created for me. Doors are opening that I don't even know are there to be opened yet, right? someone over there in, that town over there could be talking to their husband about investing and starting to work with me, right? This person over there could be reading an article or catching a blog and then deciding to make, a decision to come into one of my programs, right? That's how it works. Things can unfold that way when we are so present with our energy, when we are locked into the identity that is aligned with the future that we want to create. So if you haven't done that work to really think about, what is that big vision? What does that container look like for you? What is it that you're wanting to step in? This is a good time to do that, right? To really identify, like, who is it that you want to be and how do you want to be in the world, right? And then line up with the energy that expresses that, right? Line up with the belief sets, line up with the actions that are going to take you in that direction. It doesn't mean that you have to know how, right? There's so many magical things that we can't even see, right? We can, and we understand this, right? Because we know that, the sky is blue during the day, but the stars are still there. We cannot see them, but they're still there, right? It's the same principle. There is infinite intelligence. There's so much that is happening often around us that's being organized and orchestrated that we can't always see. But when we are in our place of alignment, when we are really conscious of our state of being, when we are so present and listening to our bodies, listening to our own intuition, trusting that we are supported, we are guided, and that everything we need is inside of us, then we can tune in. Then we can line up with it, right? Then we're in the embodiment.